What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. Today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 most underrated college football coaches. Now, this list is going to be divisive. All right, everybody's list is different than everybody else's. Like, for example, on my community tab not too long ago, I did a post talking about underrated coaches. And, for example, Lane Kiffin. People said he was overrated. People said he was underrated. Big mixture there. So while we're moving along on this list, go ahead and let me know your list down in the comment section. Who would you add to this list? And just let me know your top 10. I will start off with some honorable mentions here. Now, these honorable mentions, some of them I would put on the list, but with this underrated list, I was kind of trying to do a deep dive. So guys that are well-known, coaches that are well-known already, I kind of didn't include on the list. So, for example, like Mike Gundy, he would be on this list in my opinion. He's definitely an underrated coach, but I think he's pretty well-known. But he's definitely underrated for what he has done at Oklahoma State. He's very consistent. Even when his teams aren't very talented, Oklahoma State's going to be competitive, kind of always has them in that Big 12 title race, made the Big 12 championship last year. Mike Gundy, in my opinion, is underrated. Ryan Day, all right, I know he's a lot of people's overrated coach. The problem with that is, all right, yes, he hasn't gotten over the hump at Ohio State, but they've been really good. And Ohio State is one bad hire away from just instantly tanking, in my opinion. But Ryan Day has been consistent. Yes, Ohio State. Yes, everybody wins at Ohio State. But he's done a pretty good job there. I think they're the favorites this year. You just had to wait out this little run with Jim Harbaugh, J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum. Michigan has been stacked these last few years. All right, Dabo Swinney. I don't know why I would say he's necessarily underrated, but I know so many people call him overrated. They ask, what has he done since Trevor Lawrence has gone? Well, he still won double-digit games every freaking year almost, even with Trevor Lawrence gone. Think back to what he did before Trevor Lawrence, what he did after Trevor Lawrence. He's one of the best college football coaches in the country. I've got him at number 2 right now, I think, behind Kirby Smart, and just top coaches. Dabo Swinney, arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time as far as the amount of national championships he's won, the amount of college football playoffs he's made. Very underrated in my opinion. Kirk Ferentz. All right, him and Mike Gundy are the two I would actually put on the list if I was doing a straight up my opinion most underrated. But again, I was trying to do a deep dive on this, so it's not necessarily well-known guys, but these are guys I would add to my list. You know, if you just ask me, is Kirk Ferentz underrated? I would say yes. What he has done at Iowa, I know it's not pretty. I know a lot of people complain about what his offense looks like. As a coach, I don't care what the heck his offense looks like. If he's winning ball games, he's winning ball games, and he does. He's going to reach double-digit wins every year. He might even make the Big Ten championship this year. It's not out of the realm possibility. Kirk Ferentz is a good coach for what he's done at Iowa. All right, last on my honorable mentions list, Chris Klieman at Kansas State. I see his name thrown around a lot. Chris Klieman has done a lot of good things at Kansas State, but his more is what has he done before Kansas State. He won a lot at the FCS level, multiple championship appearances, and Chris Klieman has done good things at Kansas State. The only problem with that is people have won at Kansas State before, so I think he needs to do a little more, and I think they're definitely having that chance now with Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the top 10 here. Number 10, Lance Leipold. All right, so this is a name I see get thrown around a lot as well. So with him, we're going to look at what Kansas did, prior to Lance Leipold getting here. All right, so 2009, all right, before Lance Leipold got there, that was the last time Kansas was ranked at all. I know you can't see all this because of my big fat head, but I'm going to tell you what it says. So pretty much Lance Leipold last season, really good year, and they're kind of on the up and up. All right, if Daniels can stay healthy this year at quarterback, they're going to be really good. But again, prior to Lance Leipold, 2009 was the last time Kansas was ranked. He's got them ranked consistently almost now this past season and probably this year. Last time they won more than 9 games was 2007. Lance Leipold won 9 games last season. All right, and prior to Lance Leipold, 2008 was the last time they had a winning season, and Lance Leipold has got them on the trajectory going up. All right, number 9, Jamey Chadwell. All right, so we're going to dive into a few guys here. I've got 3 G5 schools on my list, G5 head coaches, so bear with me if you don't know their names. But Jamey Chadwell, Liberty head coach, was a Coastal Carolina prior to that, 52-23 overall, 693 winning percentage, 4 9+ win seasons in his seasons coached, 3 11+ win seasons, both being at Liberty and Coastal Carolina. He's turned down big job offers before. Mississippi State reportedly called him this season, offered him the job, and he turned it down. So he's either trying to build something really big at Liberty, and he kind of has that opportunity too. I would say he has the opportunity to kind of be what Boise State used to be the year in and year out G5 representative, in the new college football playoff. He definitely can build a winner there, or you could see him end up being the Florida coach probably next year. All right, number 8, Josh Heupel. All right, Tennessee head coach, 55-20. All right, he was at UCF prior to being at Tennessee. 4 10-plus win seasons. Prior to Josh Heupel coming to Tennessee, Tennessee's been down a little bit. 2001 was the last time they had 11 wins in a season at Tennessee. Josh Heupel has done that. I really thought Oklahoma should have hired him. Josh Heupel, really underrated coach. He's got Tennessee back as a consistent top 25 school. Josh Heupel, underrated. Number 7. All right, so this is one of the G5 guys we're going to talk about. Jeff Tedford at Fresno State. Also was at Cal when Aaron Rodgers was there. 127-79 record. 617 winning percentage. 10 8-plus win seasons. 5 10-plus win seasons. Really underrated guy. Took a break for a little bit in 2020. Came back, though, at Fresno State to replace Kalen DeBoer. You probably know that name. But he kind of passed it off to DeBoer and then came back and took it again from DeBoer. Really good job at Fresno State. He's won a ton of ball games at the G5 level. All right, next up, another G5 guy, Troy Calhoun. Give me a second here. Sorry about that, guys. Losing my voice. Troy Calhoun at Air Force. Really underrated job. You might not even know this name, but this guy's arguably a top 25 coach in the nation. At Air Force, it's pretty hard to recruit. And what he's done at Air Force is impressive. 130 wins, 82 losses, 613 winning percentage, 5 10-win seasons, 11 8-plus win seasons. He's done tremendous things at Air Force, had them in the top 25 last season. Troy Calhoun, very underrated. All right, so now moving on to my top 5. I think we have a clear top 5 first off. Now, these guys, some of them it's going to look like we're celebrating mediocrity, but it's more like schools that you aren't expected to win at, that don't have a history of winning. These are guys that have won consistently at those schools and kind of have them as a consistent contender, at least viable bowl game contender. Number 5, Mike Locksley. All right, Maryland head coach, really underrated, not talked about a lot. I'm not sure any of these guys do more with less than Mike Locksley. 8-5 his last 2 seasons at Maryland. Kind of slept on 8-5. I didn't think they had gone 8-5, but they have. All right, he's done a really good job at Maryland in a tough Big Ten. But prior to him coming to Maryland, 2010 was their last time they won 8 wins. 4 seasons prior to him getting to Maryland, Maryland averaged 4.5 wins. He's got them on the right track, 7 wins, and then 2 8-5 seasons right in a row. Mike Locksley has done a really good job at Maryland. Our number 4, PJ Fleck. All right, I see him on a lot of hot seat candidate boards. He's actually done a really good job in Minnesota, I think. All right, this was the guy at Western Michigan back when they were really good with Corey Davis not too long ago. But 9-plus wins 3 times at Minnesota. That's impressive enough. He also had an 11-win season at Minnesota in there. But 13-win season at Western Michigan. And prior to him coming to Minnesota, 1904. That's right, 1904. That's not a misprint. 1904 was the last time Minnesota had 11 wins before PJ Fleck got there. So he's got them at a level, I know, like last season, for example, they didn't do very good. But the Big Ten is tough. Minnesota's not expected to win the Big Ten. If he's winning 9, 10, 11 wins every 3 years, I think he's a good coach. And he's very underrated when 1904 was the last time they won 11-plus games, PJ Fleck's doing something right. Our number 3, Matt Campbell. All right, Matt Campbell was in the running this year for a few different jobs. Doesn't get a lot of love because Iowa State's kind of hit and miss. All right, the lust of his name has kind of worn off over the years. He was kind of an NFL candidate for a little bit. Then that kind of wore off. But Iowa State, similar to Minnesota, is not necessarily a place most people win. All right, he's had 10 winning seasons, whether that was at Iowa State, whether it was before he came to Iowa State at Toledo, prior to Matt Campbell at Iowa State. So he is tied for the most wins ever in a season at Iowa State. Okay, he's done really good things there. 3 seasons before he got there, they were 8-28 at Iowa State. But again, Matt Campbell has the record for the most wins in a season at Iowa State. That tells you all you need to know. He's got them in, top 25 contention consistently. They're always in the upper tier of the Big 12 now. What else can you ask for at Iowa State? All right, now these are the clear top 2 for me. Dave Doeren at number 2, we'll start with him. All right, NC State, they're going to be really good this year, first off, but he's done a really good job there. 104-62, very consistent. 11 7-plus win seasons, whether that's at NC State, whether that's before he got there, Western Kentucky, everywhere else he's been. prior to him getting there, I know that says prediction, that's a misprint. Prior to him getting to NC State, 2002 was the last time they were in the top 10. He's had them in the top 10. They're going to be a top 10 team this year, most likely by season's end. Dave Doeren has done a really good job at NC State. Kind of a slept-on name. All right, number 1, Jeff Brohm. All right, Jeff Brohm, if you don't know this name by now, give him 5 years. He's going to be a household name in college football. At Louisville, really good job this last season. Also was at Purdue prior to that, did a really good job there. He's had 6 A+1 seasons total. So prior to him getting to Purdue, 2003 was the last time they won 9 wins. And then prior to him coming to Louisville, 2013, you might remember a guy by the name of Teddy Bridgewater. That was the last time they won 10 wins at Louisville. He's got Louisville trending up. They're a top 15 preseason team for me. Jeff Brohm, very underrated coach. So that is my top 10 most underrated coaches in college football. Let me know yours. Who would you add to this list? Who would you take off this list? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? Let me know. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.